All right. So like I said on the assignments, this week is going to be your review and preparation for next week. Let's begin with talking about the endings. First off, you have three different genders. This shouldn't come as a surprise. We've gone over it before. You have the masculine gender, the feminine gender, and the neuter gender. Now, I want to be very, very clear. The gender of a word does not indicate whether or not a thing is a male or a female or not. For instance, you have the word fluvius here. Fluvius, which means river, is a masculine word. It has masculine endings, and it goes with masculine adjectives. What that means is that the word itself is masculine, not that the Romans believe that rivers are masculine or things like that. Similarly, insula means island. Insula is a feminine word. They did not think that islands were females. They didn't believe that islands were women. And this can actually be seen in the fact that other words which mean the same thing. So for instance, with fluvius, there's also the word flumen in Latin, which is a neuter word. Both fluvius and flumen both mean river, but fluvius is a masculine word and flumen is a neuter word. All right. Now, there are two things I want to clarify because of what I saw when grading your homework, where you did a chart something like this at the beginning of the quarter. So first off, there are masculine words like this, fluvius, which have this us ending. They end in us. Those words in the vocative case end in e. What that means is that you take off this us and you add on the e. Similarly, you will see this sort of thing, let's just call it, for every single noun that's given to you in Latin. So whenever you see me give you a noun, whether that be on a test or on a worksheet or anything like that, and I'm asking you to decline it or what it means or something like that, I will give you this whole thing. You'll have the word, then like a letter or a couple of letters, and then an M, an F, or an N. You can see that here and here as well. What does this mean? What this means is that this word right here, fluvius, or in this case insula or oppidum, this is the form of the word that always goes right here. In other words, whatever you see here, whatever it is, doesn't matter if it has a US, has an ER, has an MOND or whatever. Doesn't matter what it is, whatever that word is, it goes right here. All right. Then you will have this hyphen here and an I or an AE or an I or something completely different. It could be an IS, it could be a UM or whatever. But whatever it is, that is the ending of the genitive singular. What does that mean? What that means is that when you are declining the word, you put that right here. Well, what's the ending for this? The ending for this is the US. So what you do is you take that right here, chop off the US. So you delete the US, not the I. Don't delete the I. The I is part of the word. And then you add this ending right here. So if you were to put it in right here, what you would do is you would type in fluvii. Yes, I know it's two I's. That's a little weird, but still. So you take off the US, add the I. That is the genitive singular. That's the case with all three of these. Now, for your homework, what I want you to do is you're given one of these. You're given one of these or one of these or one of these. It's not necessarily insula, oppidum, and fluvius, but you're given a word. If it's a noun, it will look like this. If it's an adjective, it will look slightly different. I'll get to that in a second. And you're asked, what is the accusative plural? What is the accusative plural of it? Well, okay. So there are three different accusative plurals here. You have the os, you have the as, and you have the a. So how do you figure out which accusative plural it would be? Simple. This M here means masculine, this F here means feminine, and this N here means neuter. What that means is that if it is a masculine word, you look at this chart. If it is a feminine word, you look at this chart. And if it is a neuter word, you look at this chart. And that is how you figure out which ending is which. So you see, you're asked, what is the accusative plural of ostium, the word for door? Well, okay. So ostium is a neuter word. Ostium is ostium, ostii, neuter. Okay, well, that means that if you need to find the accusative plural, you look at this chart right here, scroll down to it if you need to, and say, okay, so I need to find the accusative, so let's go down through the cases. There is the accusative, and then is it singular or plural? Well, it's not singular because it's asking for the plural, so you need to get this one right here, and so you would write ostia as your answer. That is how all the nouns work. Adjectives, however, work a little bit differently because adjectives, so nouns all have their own gender. Fluvius will always be masculine, it will never be feminine, it will never be neuter. Oppidum will never be feminine or masculine. Insula will never be masculine or neuter. That's just simply how that works. What that means is that whenever you see a specific noun, whenever you see fluvius, you know that it's always going to have these masculine endings and won't have the feminine endings. Adjectives aren't like that. They can be any three of the genders. They can only be one at a time, but they can be any of them. So let's take the word magnus, magna, magnum. As you can see, this is an adjective, and instead of giving you, as in a noun, the nominative singular and then the genitive singular, instead what you're given is the nominative singular form for every single gender. So magnus, you can see the ending right there, magna, ending right there, and magnum. So that's how that works. And instead of asking what is the accusative singular of magnus, magna, magnum, well, okay, well, which one? Instead, what you're asked is what is the, say, feminine genitive plural for magnus, magna, magnum. Okay, well, how do I figure that out? Well, first, feminine. Well, actually, if you're using this chart, it might be helpful to look at whether or not it's singular or plural first. So since it's plural, you look at this right half of the chart over here. All right, and is it masculine, feminine, or neuter? It's feminine. And is it nominative, genitive, accusative, or ablative? It is genitive, so that means that you look at this one. So you have, you know that the feminine accusative genitive plural of magnus, magna, magnum is magnarum, or if you would like to see that written out, magnarum. So that would be what you would put for that. That is how it works for every single one of the adjective assignments as well. When it comes to something, I believe either like pouchy, pouche, pauca is on there as well. In other words, something that's plural, you'll see that it won't be paucus, pauca, paucum. It will instead be pouchy. In other words, it's all plural. So pouchy, pauche, pauca. So that would be, so you would only look at this part of the chart. And yeah, that should be everything you guys need to know for your assignment. If you have any questions, once again, please email me. And I will see you in a couple of days.